What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Salud Cabrones podcast. I am Danny Villegas.
I am Javier Ledesma.
We're coming to you live from the Midwest Toy Show in Romeoville, and we have a very special guest with us today.
This is a treat, Danny.
This is a treat. This is a treat.
We didn't expect this to happen today.
No, we sure did not. This was, like I said, it's a special guest. We had no idea this was going to happen, and she is blessing us with her presence. Talk about Miss Dana Adiva with us in the building with us today.
How are you guys?
Dice Man's baby girl.
That's true, yes. Unfortunately.
Dana, thank you for joining us.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate it. Can you get a little closer to the mic, please?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
There you go. So,
Okay.
Dana, you are, we know you from the pro wrestling world. You're one of the boys. We refer to it like that, but you know,
Yeah.
you're obviously one of the girls. But you're a fellow worker, but you do so much more than just the pro wrestling scene. You're out there. You're basically a model. You're
Yeah.
out on social media. You're going everywhere. You've been pretty much everywhere. You're on TV at one point in time. You obviously graced the wrestling rings, and you do modeling pretty much across the U.S.
Yes, yeah.
You work conventions. I mean, you wear many, many, many hats.
Even on TV
Yeah,
Many
Jesus
TV shows.
as
Christ.
actress.
Yeah.
Actress on Empire is what we were told. I haven't seen the actual episode, but now that I know that you're there, I'm going to look it up. My wife loved Empire, so she probably knows who the hell you are. She's like, oh, I remember her.
Yeah.
But tell us all about your journey. How did all that start as far as, like, you know, obviously you started in pro wrestling, correct?
Yes, I started with actually, no. I started off first doing modeling, the MMA fights, the ring girl for MMA fights. And then the first show ever I did with Pow as a ring girl, and that's when I started doing wrestling. I didn't do any of my dad's shows at first when he was doing promotions. I didn't work for him. I was actually terrified of wrestling back then.
Really?
I was scared shitless of wrestling. I didn't want anything to do with it, super shy. And then after I did the first Pow show, what was
Wrestle
it?
Rage?
Wrestle Rage, yeah, I don't know what year it was. Did that when I fell in love with it.
So that was actually your first wrestling show that you did?
Yes, it was the first one ever was Wrestle Rage.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Some people start at the top, Danny. Some people start at the top.
So you being so scared of it for so many years, what made you want to jump into it that one night?
I think it was after years of doing the XFO MMA fights and everything like that. I got over the fear. I mean, I'm watching people get hit in the face and blood everywhere on top of me, doing them ring girl stuff, and then the wrestling. I'm like, oh, I really like this actually.
Yeah, I mean, because you
So-
technically kind of grew up in the business, you know, with your father.
Well, yeah, I was at wrestling shows since the day I was born.
Yeah.
So-
the fact that you were scared of him, that's kind of ironic for me.
Yeah, I would sit in the back. I wouldn't go up to the ring. Wouldn't sit in the front row. Nothing like that. I was terrified. When you came up to me, I was like, leave me alone. Who are you?
Did he ever walk up to you, just busted open, all bleeding, and you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, there was many times going home after shows with my dad. You know, he had, I think, a broken nose before, broken bones, black and blue all over. I'm
I
like,
can imagine why you were freaked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting hit in the head with the chairs and stuff the wrong way. So
The last thing any little kid wants to see is their dad get beat up. So I
Yeah.
can imagine that definitely had an impact on you as a little one. Like, yeah, this isn't for me.
no, yeah, I was scared.
But how did you start getting into? You said with the MMA fights and stuff like that. That started first for you.
Yeah, so I was doing the modeling for years prior to that. And then they asked me to do the MMA fights, and I did that for a while. I think like 5 years or so.
Okay.
A long time, and then that kind of died down. That's when I got into the whole wrestling.
So with the
So-
MMA fights, what did you do for them? You did
Just the ring girl.
Ring girl? Okay.
Yeah. So all the XFO fights. I
yeah,
did.
yeah. So then, so you doing those? So you did that before the wrestling?
Yeah. So we did shows all over the Sears Center, the different all over the place.
I just think it's
the
funny
bars.
because he said it's you were terrified of wrestling, but then you go and be a ring girl for
Yeah, I
MMA.
go be on my fights. I'm like, I don't know where.
You know,
I
a
was
little bit
not
different.
scared of that at all, but I mean, I'm sitting right there doing that main fights, right there next to their cage, and no fear at all. I'm like, okay. They even tried getting me to do an actual fight before.
Oh,
they're like,
shit.
yeah. They're like, you cannot go. Everyone talked me out of it. The one girl, she's like, if you came and did this fight, she's like, I was gonna back out of it. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm not going in the ring with you. So-
Were they scared of beating you up, or were they scared of you beating them up?
No, they were terrified of hurting me because I never trained before, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it, sure.
Now to this day,
try.
have you done any kind of training for it?
For MMA?
MMA or wrestling, either or.
No, I just trained for wrestling back in the day.
Okay.
So, yeah, with Pow.
Yeah.
And then with my dad, too, when he lived out here.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And so then, as you're getting in, you know, like you're doing the modeling thing and all that. When does because obviously in your social media, you're posting, you're like Javier said, you're doing everything. You're doing conventions, you're doing MMA shows, wrestling shows. You're doing so much. Like when does that start picking up for you?
That started probably my early 20s. I did the MTV show, the I'm Too Beautiful show, and then it turned into Life on the Road. So I filmed with MTV for a year and everything like that. And then I think that's more when I got in. No, I got into wrestling at the same time training too. So
Did MTV give you like some exposure for that?
it came me, yes, a lot of exposure. So when I did MTV, they were really big on the wrestling. So I flew out to New Jersey. I forgot the name of the company out there that I wrestled for, but they filmed me out there. My first match was on MTV.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What a first match, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
MTV, Wrestle Rage. Like I said, some people start on top, then.
How did that come about for you, the MTV thing?
People when I was training in PAL, they told me about it. Like, hey, they're looking for people for True Life. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this stuff. They're not gonna pick me up, everybody. I filled out the application late at night one night, and the next day that morning they were calling me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was that process like, as far as by the time you got put on the show?
It was about they called me, did an interview with them, and then it was like a week later they called me and they're like, we want to film with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we filmed for a month. I mean, they followed me everywhere. I was always hooked up to the microphone. I did a show wrestling with my dad on MTV. They didn't air that part though, which kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I had Rakishi in there with me, my dad.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah. So it is true that they do have you mic'd up and everything the whole time?
The whole time, yeah. And there are a lot of things that people don't realize, like when they're like, oh, if you know me as a person outside of like wrestling, outside of being on TV, they're like, that's not who you are at all. I'm like, yeah, it's TV, it's entertainment, you guys. I'm like, there's a lot of parts on there. They were telling me what to say.
They got to produce it.
Yeah. I had to wear makeup 24/7 on that. I mean, I would go out in public after the air show, and people would just stare at me, and they're like, and give me the meanest. I already knew it was coming. They're like, you're the girl from MTV. I was like, they're like, you're actually really nice in person, and they're like, you're actually really pretty. I'm like, thank you.
So did you get a lot of backlash after that?
Yes,
Really?
a lot of people. So I didn't realize MTV aired all over the world. I thought it was just in the United States. They called me the next day, and they're like, we never had so many people, like other TV shows, magazines were calling in, trying to get my information to be put in magazines and everything like that. They're like, we never had someone like this big to come on the show. I was like, I didn't expect it. People hated me on the show. Either they loved me or they hated me.
There is like, I remember Googling one time, like when I first met you, and someone told me like, oh, that was like, she was on MTV, and I was like, I was curious, and I Googled, you go down a weird rabbit hole of hatred.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Mean, there's YouTube is one, and there's over 1 million views on it, and they're just talking all this shit about me. I'm like, whatever. I'm like,
and bad publicity is still publicity, right?
Yes, even today, like it was like a year ago, somebody, my daughter came downstairs like screaming at me. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, you're on TikTok right now, and it's blowing up. And this was over, like, the MTV episode was like 10 years ago. I mean, this thing has over 1 million views right now, and people just commenting now. I'm like, this thing was 10 years ago, and you guys are still.
Should we even air this episode, Danny? This is gonna get all sorts of hate.
I get a lot of hate all the time. I'm like, it's whatever.
I can't believe these guys had her on.
Oh my god! And they're like, she was so mean to her sister and everything like that. I'm like, I told my sister, I'm like, do not go on there, start reading these comments, because she's like, these comments are really mean. I'm like, you just gotta let it go at that point.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of
thick skin for this.
So they followed you around, like your whole personal life. They followed you around.
Oh yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like anywhere I went to, like the mall, they would have me there shopping. We did one scene at like a bar they had me go to.
So
in
they're
the car.
having you go to these places?
Yeah, they had me even go to a psychologist and see a counselor.
Really?
Yeah.
So were they the ones pitching these things to you to do, or were you like, hey, I need to go do this so you guys can follow me around?
They wanted, there was a few things that they wanted me to do, like go out with my sister, because more of it, the storyline of that was like, oh, like my sister's jealous of me, like I get all the attention when we go out, and it became like a conflict between me and her.
Gotcha.
So,
But none of that ever actually spilled to real life, did it?
there were some issues growing up with me and my little sister, yeah.
So there is a little bit of truth to that MTV.
There is truth, and there is a lot of truth in there. So like a lot of it, when it starts with like high school, I did get kicked out of my high school for it because more of the story was like I got bullied a lot in high school, and a lot of people, they had to protect me at my high school because people would come after me because of how I looked. They even went to my dean one time and told them that I was doing porn at 14 years old. I was like,
Jesus.
Wow, that's nuts.
I'm like, are you serious?
That is some
like,
straight up crazy bullying, man.
Yes, I walked in one day and my one friends, they came up and hugged me. I remember like as day. There was a whole, it was MySpace at the time, all those chain mails are there, we're going to go after Dana, we're going to kill her, we're going to do all this stuff to her. Sure enough, there was a whole group of girls coming after me that day, and I walked into school, I was late that day, I walked in, I just see the police coming towards me, my dean, they grabbed me right away. Sure enough, they were coming after me that day.
Wow, holy shit.
Yeah, so then it came to when school was like, I had to start school later than everybody else. I had to go into one classroom only. I had security on me.
Damn, that's how bad it got?
Yeah,
Holy
24/7. It's just like people were just after me because how I looked. I'm like, I just come to school. I want nothing to do with you people.
Yeah. So do you feel like, now looking back at everything, would you take that MTV thing back? Would you want to?
I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of positive too. Like a lot of people reach out to me and my sister, like, thank you. Like you made me want to build a better relationship with my sibling and everything like that. They're like, we go through the same stuff at home. You were bullied. So a lot of people came to me for just to talk and vent to me.
So with as much hate and negativity you got, but you also got the positive.
There's a lot
end.
of positive to it too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I can see where that steps in. Where okay, yeah, I would do it again.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, you were bullied. I'm like, yeah, I was bullied. They're like, well, so was I. I'm like, I get it. It sucks being bullied. I was traumatized to ever go back to school after high school. Even the first time I walked into college, I was shaking. I was like, I can't do this. I'm scared something's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
So.
And do you still get approached to this day about MTV?
Yes, it's pretty fun, and people will be like, I'm like, you were the girl on MTV, and I'm like, this was 10 years ago, you guys. You guys still remember me? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Well, you left a lasting impression on people.
Yeah.
For better or worse, at least, you have that.
Yeah, it's still, to this day, the whole TikTok thing that I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
I would imagine that it opened some doors,
It did.
So
Especially it helped me with wrestling a lot. A lot of people wanted to book me at the time, and I'm like, I'm still green in wrestling. I'm still training. So I didn't take as many bookings at the time. It's I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm like, I'll do more the managing and valeting and stuff. I'm okay with that, but I'm like, I'm not going to go in the ring with you right now. So.
What's one thing that you would like to do as far as either modeling or any kind of the acting world?
I still want to go in the magazines. I get asked for a lot of magazines a lot still. I want to do Playboy one day.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been in I think I've been in 14 or 15 magazines now, so that's one I've always wanted to do. I see all these other girls, and I'm like, if they can do it, I'm like, I can't. So, yeah. I want to do TV shows, get back in the TV. I took some time off, but now I want to go back into it. So.
Yeah, because like I said, we touched on you did Empire and all that. When did the acting start for you?
Probably right around the same time, 18, 19, 20 years old, right in there, right when I started doing MTV, and then I did Empire. What else did I do? First Dates, I was on Me and Cow, and then the whole Rosebud gimmick with WWE, I did a lot of those ones.
Speaking on the Rosebud stuff, since we're touching a little bit on wrestling, I remember when that happened and seeing everyone on the social media and in the Chicagoland area, oh, that's awesome, she's there, we know her, blah blah blah, and then we know the gimmick was you being part of an entourage.
Yeah.
So walk us through how that all kind of came about.
I started that the first time I went, and then I was terrified. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
So let me reiterate my question. Let me kind of reshape it, because I know from experience from us in the industry, like a lot of the workers, they go out and they do their dark matches, and then they get told, okay, cool, you're going to be a security guard today. And then, did you have to do that, or were you specifically hired to go in and be a rosebud?
I was specifically hired to go in as a rosebud.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
so I didn't do any of the dark. There was one time, I remember it to this day, it was when Rana Rosie was there too. They're like, hey, go put your gear on. I'm like, are you serious? They're like, well, she's never put anybody through a table before, so they were going to use me. And so freaking through a practice on. I'm like,
As a guinea pig. You were going to be the guinea pig.
Like,
I've
never been through a table either, and she's never done it. I'm like, this is great. But sure enough, like, it didn't, like, that part just went overtime beforehand, so it never happened. I'm sitting there next to the ring. I'm like, she's gonna put me through this table.
She just removes the pad afterwards. Like, well, I don't need this.
Thank God the part before it went overtime that got cleared all the way. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
What was your favorite memory from being a rosebud? Besides falling down.
Yeah, we did a house show one time. I'm pretty sure it was in Chicago, and someone came up behind me. They put their gimmick on top of my head, and I'm like, everything went dark in front of me. I'm like, what the hell just happened? And tripped and fell. The pyro, I had to get used to because I hate the sound of fireworks. That was the first time it went off. I was in the back by Gorilla, went off, and I just screamed and went to the ground and got so scared. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I'm like, it was so embarrassing.
So was that one of your favorite moments then, being a rosebud?
Yeah, I love it. So many memories from there. I miss everybody. I would go in a heartbeat again and do it. So.
Yeah. Do you see yourself doing more stuff in the wrestling industry?
Yeah, I want to get back into the wrestling. So I cracked my head open 3 years ago. So
I remember that. You were on vacation when this happened, right?
Cancun.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I was in Cancun and had too much to drink, and decided me and my friends were gonna go jump on the bed and wrestle. And I'm like, oh, look what I can do! And I went to literally, we were wrestling around, and I went to go take a back bump, not realizing the wall was right there in a picture, and cracked my head open. Dude, 7 staples in my head.
I was going to say that, yeah. Social media, all that pictures.
Oh, man.
And the concussion I had from that lasted like a year. Like, even to this day, if I'm around like something with too many lights or stuff like the strobe lights, it gets to me.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, I was throwing up for probably a year straight from that.
Really?
Wow, that's nuts.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's fucking scary.
How many staples were?
7.
Jesus.
And I flew home with my head busted open. So
yeah, because I remember that. I think that's what I saw, and then I went, "What the hell happened to her?" And then I saw it posted because people were talking about how dangerous it was for you to fly with like a wound or something like that.
I was like, I didn't know. I'm like, I went to the hospital in Mexico, and they're like, they wanted 10 grand cash from us. I'm like, we're all trying to give us.
Look at this green guy. We're gonna go ahead and charge her right now. That's exactly what it was, bro.
Oh damn, really? 10 grand?
Yeah, they wanted 10 grand cash, and we're all like, here's our credit cards. They wouldn't take it. It had to be cash.
Had to be cash. Yeah.
And I'm like, get me out of here. I'm pouring out blood everywhere on my head.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, bro. They saw a white girl on vacation, and they're like, we're about to rip her off.
Yeah, so, and then everyone's like, your head's going to explode when you go on the plane. I'm like, no, guess what? I'm going home like this. So.
Just freaking out, like, what the hell?
Your eyeballs are going to pop out, hanging from your head. But no, like I said, we're here at Midwest Toy Show. You're here today with your stand for teeth whitening, correct?
Yes.
That's what you do?
I opened up my own business up doing teeth whitening. So
let's talk about that. How did that start for you?
I started 2 years ago.
That's why Dana's in her scrubs today.
Yeah, I'm in my scrubs. normally don't see me in my scrubs. So yeah. I started off, a lot of people always ask me how white my teeth are and everything like that, so I researched it. I wanted to start my own business, and everything over the counter was really, my teeth are super sensitive, and so anything I used over the counter was super sensitive on me. So I researched this company up, bought into it, and there's no sensitivity at all with it. And then a year ago, I opened my own studio up in Crystal Lake.
Okay.
So I do a lot of teeth whitening parties. I'll go to like other hair salons and do travel with it, but now I normally just do it at my studio.
I've heard of tattoo parties. I've never heard of teeth whitening parties.
Yeah. So there's another girl I do it with. So it will be me, her, she does Botox, and then her friend does like IV treatments and everything like that. So we kind of team up together and go all over the place.
That is crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it takes only 15 minutes and it gets your teeth 2 to 8 shades whiter. So
Yeah, so we saw on social media that Rikishi, who was here at the Midwest show, stopped in with you and got his teeth whitened before the
Yes.
show. That is hilariously awesome. I know you're friends with Rikishi. You go back,
Yeah.
but how does that? The fact that you have this celebrity now, so to speak, reach out to you. That's got to be like. Not only is it awesome because of your business, but it shows the friendship that you have there and the comfort that he has to actually come in and do that with you. You know?
yeah, so it was pretty awesome. Like, dude, to me, he's a normal person. To
Yeah.
me, I don't look at anybody in the business as celebrities like, oh my god, like unless you're Randy Orton, then it's a whole different story. That's gonna stop there. Anyways,
Randy,
I'm like,
come get your teeth whitened. Like, why aren't you in scrubs? Why are you wearing something really risque today? Oh, this is exactly what I wear all the time to whiten
all the
teeth.
time,
Everyday
yeah.
workwear for me. What are you talking
Why are you
about?
wearing a bikini right now?
Exactly.
What I wear. What I wear.
It might bring in more business. Who knows? Maybe we need to try that out at these shows.
Rikishi's like, you didn't wear that when you whitened my teeth.
I mean, have you ever thought about doing that? Like, parties like that? Like, like modeling teeth whitening parties?
I thought about doing people's lawns actually in bikinis.
Lawns, you said?
Yeah, go like mow their lawns.
That
like,
is
cut
hilarious.
It down.
It's
You know,
the
get
next
some-
generation of a car wash. It's like, I'll mow your lawn.
Yeah, that's I'm like
It's a-
upset. I know a lot of girls that do modeling and everything like that, do conventions. I'm like, hey, you know,
There's going to be a lot of happy dads and a lot of pissed off wives. That's all I know.
I
not-
needed them to sign a contract first. By the way, your wife can't come after me.
Not only
So-
angry wives, but angry Latinos out there that just got freaking robbed off of a job to mow some lawns. Talk about reverse. It's like,
I didn't think about that.
how did the Mexicans lose their job to a weta, bro?
Then they look, okay. Wait. Next thing you know, do all the paisas shit in their little bikinis, seeing if it works, pushing the lawnmower. Like, nah, bro.
We're trying to compete with Dana.
Yeah,
But no, so you've had this business for how long now?
2 years now. 2 years now. So
Okay. And how's the success going for you for that?
it was really slow at first and everything like that because I didn't have my studio. So sometimes I would go to people's houses and that was I got some weird interactions at times like that. But mostly I did a lot of even businesses I'll go into. I did a lot of animal hospitals. I give them discounts and bringing me in their employees. And then I opened my studio up, and it's ever since I had my studio, it's been going pretty good.
Yeah. So what made you go into teeth whitening?
The first thing I know is somebody has their teeth and everything like that, and so many people all throughout my life has always asked me how are your teeth so white. So I'm like, what can I do? It's something that I get asked daily. Your teeth are so white. What product do you use? I'm like, well, I need to find something that I can do. And so I came into teeth whitening, and it's been really good. So
Because, I mean, that's a big thing now. I see people getting their teeth whitened all the time.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, there was a point in time that we're wrestling fans. I remember when my buddy mentioning this one time, he would always say that The Rock's teeth were pearly whites. And because The Rock showed up one day and all of a sudden his teeth were perfect. They were super white, straight, everything. So he had some work done,
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is that's what my buddy noticed from then on. He was all like, oh, there's The Rock. And he would always smile. He's like, there's The Rock with the pearly whites.
Look at Roman Reigns. He's the same way now.
I know, yeah, that's right. He
they're
had
all
the veneers or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
they're all
And I
white
was
now.
like, damn, that motherfucker's pretty. with them crazy ass white teeth. Well, yeah, it's what you notice. It's what I always say is people notice their smile, right?
That's what they
So,
say. A lot of people, 85% of people will notice your teeth first. So,
And I remember I asked you when you got here, I asked you about it because I'm a big coffee drinker. I love coffee. But everyone knows coffee stains your teeth.
Yeah.
So after you do the teeth whitening, I asked you said yes, people can drink coffee, right?
Yeah.
And it's good, the whitening is good up to how long?
6 months to a year. So it depends on your lifestyle. So if you're drinking coffee every day, I'm a huge coffee drinker. I drink it daily. It's going to end up staining your teeth faster than it prior to. So when you get your teeth whitened, you don't want to go drink coffee immediately afterwards.
Okay.
Or drink red wine. It would stain your teeth purple.
Okay. Really?
So-
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't drink wine.
Yeah, red wine will stain your teeth purple.
Okay.
So-
So then after you do them, how long before you can drink coffee?
Just give it 24 hours. If you
Okay.
have to drink coffee afterwards or you have something going on, I tell people to use a straw.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching a TV show one day, and it's funny because I think there were cops, and this lady walks in, and she's drinking hot coffee out of a straw, and the other guy goes, "Hot coffee out of a straw?" She goes, "I just got my teeth whitened," and I'm like, "I wonder if that's true." The whole time, I'm like, I wonder if that's true.
Yeah, I worked at Starbucks for like 5 years, and I couldn't figure this before I got into teeth whitening. I'm like, why do they always have straws? And they asked me for straws. I'm like, you guys are idiots. And now I'm like, oh, because you guys don't want to stain your teeth.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know. So I will be seeing you in the near future because I need my teeth whitened. And now that I know it takes 6 months to a year before they go back, then okay.
Danny wants it for his acting. He's
I
gonna
do.
show up at like auditions, like,
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's a lot of people coming. So I do a lot of like models. I did a lot of people from AEW before their teeth and stuff. Before I even had my studio, they're like, hey. So I went to the hotel and did all their teeth.
Really?
So,
That's good to know. See, that word of mouth though. People know coming to Chicago, hit up Dana
Yeah.
for the teeth whitening. Because I saw you got your own little thing, your own little whitener, like your travel whitener, right? That
Yeah, my light. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that.
So, and you mentioned the AEW guys going up to their hotel. So, is all this obviously the circles because of the connections that you have within the pro wrestling world that opened up that market for you?
Yeah, so I knew sites. I wasn't planning to do like a bunch of them that day. One of them contacted me. I'm like, yeah, I'll come in and do your teeth and everything like that. And they saw me doing it with them, and then I did Gold Dust and a bunch of other people there too. So.
Just the whole line of wrestlers out the window.
I did like 5 of them that day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
That's pretty hilarious.
So Randy Orton, if you're listening, next time you're in Chicago and you want your teeth whitened,
you can come see me.
Right there.
Please. I won't charge you.
Dana has baby oil and everything ready. Just bring it on, man. Bring it on.
No, Dana, as we start winding down here. So what else can we see Dana doing next? Because like I said, you do so much. You know, modeling, acting. You got your own business. Like you do everything. You're everywhere.
Yeah.
So what can we see you doing next?
In a few weeks, I'll be at Exotica Chicago for the weekend, signing over at one of the booths over there. And then
whitening the teeth of all the XXX stars.
Actually, yeah, a bunch of them asked me to come
That's
whiten their teeth on
awesome.
top of it. So I'm like,
So you're gonna take your stuff with you and do it?
yeah, on
Oh.
top of it. So I'm not there whitening teeth. I'm there actually signing autographs for the booth and everything like that.
Okay.
Right there.
But those girls, that's part of what they show with
I
their
know.
acting.
I tell them like,
so-
hey, before you film that day, let me whiten your teeth.
That's a good right there.
So,
Hey, that's a good hustle right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey.
And afterwards, if it's stained, I take care of that too.
So yeah.
Ah,
There.
sucia.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So you got that coming up, and then what else?
I know probably a few wrestling events too, shows. So
Mm-hmm.
I think in Indiana, May 3rd, I'll be over there. I think my dad's wrestling, so
Okay.
going up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Dana, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us
You're welcome. Thank
for a
you.
little bit. Yes, we hope you had a good time. We hope
Yes.
hope we weren't too bad for you.
No, you're fine.
But no, please put your social media out there. Where can people find you? Where can people find your business? Stuff like that.
So I'm on Instagram as AdivaXO. And then if you go on to my main page there, you click the link, and then it brings you to my OnlyFans. It brings you to where you can text me daily and or call me. So my fans are able to talk to me at all times. And then my Twitter's on there. So I think my Twitter is Dana Adiva XO. So
Okay.
yeah, and then I post on there all the time, like where I'm at, where I'm gonna be. This was last minute. I didn't even know I was gonna be here till like 2:30 in the morning today. So I'm like, okay. So,
Yeah, you walked in. You're like, I'm so tired.
I am.
I just woke up like 4 hours ago.
I did. I'm like, do I really go? So,
No, but
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming out here.
Thank you.
Before we head up out of here, any last things you want to say?
now that I can think of, thanks
No?
for having me.
All right.
So yeah.
Of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to give a big special thanks to Miss Dana Adiva for coming and sitting and talking with us. Big special thanks to our sponsors, the Law Office of Christopher Hoff and a Taco Villa in Villa Park. Dana, we sign off just saying salud, cabrones. Can you say that? Salud, cabrones. Cabrones.
Close enough.
Roll that R.
Salute jabronis.
Salute jabronis. We can say that. Salute jabronis.
What am I saying before I
It's
know.
slang for like funny.
Like, cheers, motherfucker.
cheers,
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you have me saying before I'm saying that?
Nothing as bad as what MTV had you say. Okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So you can attempt to say it. Okay. So,
Salud,
salud, cabrones.
Salud,
Cabrones.
cabrones.
Cabrones. Roll that R.
I'm gonna take a minute to do this.
I'm sure you were rolling R's in Mexico when you had a headache.
That was after like 30 shots. Don't leave me by myself by the bar.
All right, how about we just say salud? You know
There you go,
salud?
salud.
I know you how to say salud, right?
Yeah, salute.
Okay,
There
you
you
go.
go.
There you go.
I got that down.
So 1, 2, 3.
Salud,
cabrones. We out.